I think we should do the intro backwards. Let's do it backwards. Oh, also, still Resident Evil month.
Top 10 Resident Evil the songs. Go.
I actually hate using the word songs in a video like this because that's not what the word actually means. Like, the word song implies something that can actually be sung with, like, actual lyrics, and Resident Evil doesn't have lyrics because that'd be incredibly fucking bizarre.
I'm Leon and I'm in a save room. Saving. God, whatever, let's just get started. Infiltration from Resident Evil 4. My god, did Resident Evil 4 have a great soundtrack. It actually feels weird even saying that, because honestly, this may be the most subtle and forgettable soundtrack in the entire series. Yet, somehow, it's one of the most effective ones. Half the time when you're playing the game, you don't even notice the music is there. Resi 4 is most of the time a really quiet game, and the music only comes blasting in through the speakers at very specific times. There are a lot of great themes I could have mentioned here, like the soothing merchant theme, the foreboding castle theme, or better yet, the theme that plays when the goddamn Regenerators are coming. But the song I put here is Infiltration, the theme that plays when you first get to the island, the last major area at the end of the game. Why this song? I don't know, it's just memorable. Infiltration is the only real rhythm I remember from this game, the one that comes to mind most often when I think about it. It's a really creepy, really Resident Evil sounding piece that fits not only the situation perfectly, but the tone of the environment as well. It's a build-up song, an introductory theme to pump you up for the last chapter of the game. And it just works. I like it. I need a transition now.
Well, that works.
The police station from Resident Evil 2. Oh dear, how do I even find words for this one? Okay, so I've already told you guys the Spencer Mansion is my favorite setting from any Resident Evil game, period. But if I had to pick a second favorite, a place from the other games that wasn't present in the first Resident Evil, it would immediately have to go to the police station from Resi 2. I freaking love the police station, and a lot of it has to do with the music. This theme not only sounds lonely and haunting, but it also sounds like the police station. I don't even know how to describe it. It just sounds exactly how the environment looks. All the soft, dim urban lighting, the tall, spacious stone walls, and just the grim abandonedness of it all. This is a derelict building, a place once filled with bustling life, now filled with mysterious death, and the music echoes that feeling best of all. If I had to think of one word for the police station, it would be classic. This place is just classic. It's an old, cruddy-looking setting from the infant years of horror gaming. And for me, it's just nostalgic as hell. You know, a lot of people remember this game, and a lot of people grew up with it. Maybe even more so than the other classic Resi titles. And I think I speak for all of us when I say we'd love to see the police station remade. Yeah, you hear that, Capcom? Where's our remake of Resi 2? Why haven't you made that yet? Look at this. You see this right here? Yeah, guess what? A fan made this. This is a fan-made remake of Resi 2. And you can't even play it. You can't even play it. It's just a video on YouTube. Yeah, doesn't it hurt to look at it? Doesn't it hurt?
This year, Christmas will be ours!
God, these movie transitions are useful. The Basement from Resident Evil 0. Whoa, wait a minute. The Umbrella Corporation has a torture chamber? Where they torture people? Like filthy, barbaric, medieval torture people?
Okay.
Yeah, this might simultaneously be one of the darkest and also one of the cheesiest places in Resident Evil history. The basement of the training facility in Resident Evil 0 is a creepy area with a lot of wretched monsters, and a lot of shocking imagery that you don't expect to see the first time around. There are giant insects, murky corridors, and bloody torture cells hidden deep within its twists and turns. And compared to the mansion basement from the first game, it's a lot bigger and longer in area. But my favorite thing about this place is just the music. I think this might be the eeriest theme in any Resident Evil game, hands down. It's definitely the best basement theme, or at least the scariest sounding one for sure. When it comes to dark ambient music and all the spooky soundscapes of the classic Resident Evil games, this one gets me like no other. It just sounds so dangerous, so frightening and vague, like you've stumbled upon something really secret, something you're not supposed to see. If one thing can be said for Resident Evil 0, it has one hell of a dark soundtrack. Maybe the darkest soundtrack in the whole series. The music of 0 is very similar to the music of the Resi remake, but somehow it sounds even bleaker, even emptier, and even more colorless. Long story short, it's my cup of tea. Meeting Brad from Resident Evil 3. Okay, so I kinda put this one here just for personal reasons. Kinda. I really like this song, and it's probably just for the sake of nostalgia. This tune is comforting to me. It always has been, and it sounds exactly fitting for what it's supposed to be. This song plays when you first come across Brad Vickers in an abandoned bar at the beginning of Resident Evil 3.
I didn't know you were still alive, Jill. The police aren't trained for this kind of situation. What could they do?
I remember when I was a kid, I used to just stand in this room after the cutscene already happened, just staring at the screen, feeling safe, and drowning myself in the soft music. This song illustrates a minute of safety, a brief moment of peace in an otherwise crazy, tumultuous game. It's that feeling of sanctuary, of finding someone else in the bowels of a dark, horrific environment. It's a feeling you can only really get in games that are crazy and unforgiving, games that beat the shit out of you and never let you rest. I mean, just picture yourself being in this situation. Picture wandering through a big city during a deadly zombie apocalypse. You're all by yourself and you have no one with you at your side. Then, out of nowhere, you come across a survivor who just so happens to be an old friend from the past. And just for a brief second, you feel like you're not alone. Yeah, I don't know. I just like it. Good song. Cheesy voice acting aside.
Brad, why isn't someone doing something about this?
No one's trained to handle this kind of situation. What could anyone do?
Sad But True from Resident Evil 5. Yes, Jill Valentine is a boss. She is a boss that you have to fight. That is how stupid Resident Evil gets. And this is her boss battle theme. Okay, I don't know if I've said this before, but I'm definitely one of those people who doesn't like Resident Evil 5. Like, I just don't like it. at all. See, some people say Resi 4 was the death of the Resident Evil series, but personally, I think 5 was the death of the series. Resident Evil 5, while I could say it was fun and entertaining, it was the first Resident Evil game I played that legitimately felt phoned in. Completely phoned in. It was Resident Evil 4, a rehash, practically the same game, only shorter, and not scary. At all.
What about you? Why'd you join the BSAA?
My parents were involved in an accident caused by a pharmaceutical company when I was young.
Umbrella?
Yes.
What I mean to say is, it was the first Resident Evil game that didn't feel classic to me. It didn't even feel like Resident Evil. It felt like Gears of War or Bulletstorm. Something just designed to sell copies. But you know what? Despite all this, it did have a pretty damn good soundtrack. Honestly, I would actually be willing to say 5's soundtrack was better than 4's. It had more orchestrations, more effort, and a lot more style. Especially for its boss battles. And listening back to it now, holy shit. For a Resident Evil theme, this sounds like something out of Final Fantasy. There's just so much emotion packed into it. So much drama, intensity, and those high-pitched strings. I know some people would have preferred me putting Wesker's boss theme, Winds of Madness, here instead. And I know there are also some other pretty damn good boss battle songs I've overlooked, like the ones from Revelations. Or that crazy awesome one from Code Veronica. But I don't know, I like this one more. I like the simplicity of it. This song got stuck in my head long after I first heard it, and it's one I could listen to again and again. So, yeah, Jill Valentine. Hurrah! The City in Ruin from Resident Evil 3. Yeah, we're back to Resi 3 again, and this might be my favorite song in the whole game. The theme that plays on the empty streets of Raccoon City. Resi 3 was the only game that really let you explore Raccoon City, from the bottom to the top, and it's by far one of the best titles in the series. I actually think Resi 3 is a little bit underrated, honestly. I mean, people praise Resident Evil 2 for being like the best bloody game ever, but I think 3 is the one that really stands the test of time. 3 is probably the most epic, the most polished and cinematic of the original 3 Resident Evil games. It's the only one I can think of that I don't want to see a remake of, because it's already that good. You can play this game in the modern day and still get that terrifying paranoia, that horrific sense of urgency that surges through your veins whenever you hear stars, and then have to run for your fucking life. But yeah, the song? Just listen to the song. For the PS1, I just think this is a really impressive piece of music. And for Raccoon City, it's utterly fitting. When I think of Resi 3, I think of Raccoon City. And when I think of Raccoon City, I think of this song. It's a powerful, dark, fateful melody. Quiet in treble, but blaring in bass. It's a theme of destruction, of devastation and abandonment. And whenever I listen to it, I can still hear the city. And I can hear Nemesis. You know, personally, I've never really been that scared of Nemesis as a monster. Honestly, I've always thought he was just kind of silly. But as for the way he's programmed, well, that's scary, whether I'm scared of Nemesis or not. It doesn't matter what he looks like. It matters that he can appear anywhere. And now for some more lovely Jill Valentine dialogue.
I need to ask you something. Why did Umbrella send your team here?
Our mission is to rescue the civilians.
How kind of you. Considering Umbrella caused all this in the first place, those liars!
Neptune Tank from Resident Evil 1. Alright, this one here really is just for nostalgia. And I mean just nothing but nostalgia. This little rhythm is nothing unique in and of itself. It's just a little ambient piece, with 3 small basic notes that just repeat over and over and over again. This song plays when you enter the basement in the residence of Resident Evil's courtyard. It's a cold, metallic place, with long corridors filled with flooded water. And just beyond the corner, when you first hear the song, there are giant mutant sharks further down the hall, lurking in the depths, waiting to eat you alive. What really makes this piece for me is the loneliness, the emotion of it all. When I say this song is emotional, I really mean it, in the most embarrassing way. This song makes me emotional. It's weird how a song so simple and basic in nature can have such a strong impact on me, and I think it's only because of the tone. Neptune Tank feels cold. It feels empty, numb, and mysterious. And that's definitely the same vibe you find in all the game's other songs. But this one stands out. Let's just listen to it together. The save themes. All of them, from every game in the series.
That includes the one from Resi 4? The one from Resi 3? The one from Dead Aim? Yeah, there's a song from Resident Evil Dead Aim on here. How ridiculous is that? Oh, there's still more. Let's not forget the one from Code Veronica. Oh, and undoubtedly the one from 2. And most importantly, oh, there's also this weird one from the DualShock Director's Cut version. Oh, and speaking of the Director's Cut,
the DualShock Director's Cut basement theme. Yes, how could I not put this one here? It's the most memorable song in the entire franchise. And why not? I mean, who wouldn't love a song composed by Piano Cat pounding on a keyboard in collaboration with a fat, drunken walrus? It's the best thing I've ever heard. Just listen. This song really gets me scared. Scared in the way that only scary things can scare. I love it. I especially love it when people on YouTube use it with clips of famous horror movies. Oh, and I would also mention the original basement theme from the first Resident Evil, but I don't want to scare Caddy. He's afraid of that song.
This song scarred me from the inside and affected my childhood so much that when I first heard it, I threw down the controller and didn't play the game again for days. I'm talking, of course, about the mansion basement theme from Resident Evil 1.
Caddy's scared of Resident Evil, hashtag laugh at Caddy. We need to move on to number 1. The Resident Evil Theme by Marilyn Manson.
Yes, I know. It's not even from the games. It's from a movie. But it's great.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but as far as I'm concerned, this is the best piece of music to ever come out of the Resident Evil series. And it's just from the movie. The stupid, dumb Resident Evil movie. Judging from my last video where I did a full review of the Resident Evil movie, it seems a lot of people thought I hated this soundtrack. But I don't hate it. I don't hate Marilyn Manson or Marco Beltrami. I just think the soundtrack is silly. It doesn't make the movie any scarier. It makes it goofier. And ironically, it would have been a better soundtrack in a video game. But even so, it's still awesome. This song is freaking great. Honestly, I kind of wish it was in the games. I wish it was the theme of the entire fucking franchise. It's just flawless.
First, it starts out with this noise that's all like... And then, the spookiness kicks in. Then the bass kicks in. And then it just gets awesome.
Yeah, I think I've embarrassed myself enough now. Bye. Hello everybody, and thanks for watching my top 10 Resident Evil songs video. Right now, before I go, I'd like to thank my top supporters on Patreon. WanderGirl108, Jose Garcia, Kira Dude, Nathan Stapleton, Xantippy Pink, Quantum Clockwork, Ramil Doronio, Noah Vilgrain, Twinblade Mel, and Duncan. And I love you guys, and I think about you in my sleep.